Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to another session of your entrepreneurship. In this class, we are going to see about the ethical entrepreneurship and a case study about ethical entrepreneurship. So, first we will see what a case study is all about. Three character types are given: Carly, Tonya and Jane. Entrepreneurship is increasingly studied as a fundamental and foundational economic phenomenon. Schumpeter in 1950 and Kirchner in 1978 were pioneers, and their successors have generated a sizable literature. Yet, entrepreneurship has received less attention as a moral phenomenon and correspondingly less attention in the business ethics literature. So, what is this ethical entrepreneurship? We usually term this word ethics as a moral value. Yes, the moral value which is being accepted by everyone in the society, or at least by majority of the people in the society. So, first let us take the moral status of the entrepreneur in contrast to two other types. So, first we will see about one person, Carly. As a student, Carly worked hard and received good grades. Upon graduation, she took a job, but at the same time saved money and worked on her business plan. When she was ready, she took the entrepreneurial plunge and started her own business, which she developed successfully, and then a few years later sold for $10 million. She is now living the good life of travel, building her dream home, raising her family and managing her portfolio of investments. So, the first example we are seeing is about Carly, where she has been a very ambitious student, and she was getting good grades in her school, and after that, after her graduation, she first joined a job and she started earning, and after some time what she did, she started saving more money and then she started her business. So, when she was ready, she took the entrepreneurial plunge, yes, and she started her own business, and she when that was developed successfully. So, when she started to be successful in her business, what did she did? A few years later, she sold the business for $10 million. Hope you remember the types of entrepreneurs in which we have seen about the professional entrepreneurs, yes, who starts the business, who runs the business, and once it is successful, they will just completely sell that business, and then they will start with another new venture which is completely new to them. Yes, so this is of that kind, not the same but similar to that. So, she sold her complete business for $10 million and now she is settled down. Yes, so she herself perceived her goal. She wanted to start a business. She studied well. She completed her graduation. She went to a job. She did not harm anyone. She did not depend on anyone for money. She herself earned her money, and then with that she started the business, and what she did, she sold the same for $10 million. So, she settled down completely with a good life of travel and building her dream home, and she raised her family well, and also she was managing her portfolio of investments. So, this is about Carly. So, now let us see about Tonya. So, Tonya also worked hard in college, and upon graduation, she took a job in a financial institution. She discovered a flaw in its fund routing procedures, which enabled her anonymously to divert $10 million to an offshore bank, from which it was quickly rerouted through several Caribbean and Swiss banks, ending up in account known only to Tonya. 1 year later, Tonya resigned from her position at the financial institution and is now living in discreet luxury somewhere in Europe. So, now this is the second example we are seeing. So, she was also a hard worker in college, and after completing her graduation, she joined in a financial institution. So there what she did, she discovered a flaw in its fund routing procedures. Flaw is a mistake, okay? Mistake, or it was not in a proper procedure, okay? So on that case what she did, she found a loophole in the fund routing procedure, and with that she enabled her anonymously to divert $10 million to offshore bank. So she did not disclose who was that, okay? So anonymously, like a third person, whoever is not known to anyone, she did it that way, and she diverted $10 million from this financial institution, and what she did, from which it was quickly rerouted through several Caribbean and Swiss banks. So first it was transferred to an offshore bank. Offshore is nothing but a bank which is located in some other country. So it was transferred to that account, and from there it was again transferred to several accounts, okay? So this amount was transferred to multiple accounts, and finally it reached to an account which was known only to this Tonya, okay? So now what happened? After 1 year, till 1 year she was silently working in the institution, and after a year was over, she resigned her job, she traveled to that country and she settled there. So now first let us compare these two, okay? Carly and Tonya. So Carly, she wanted to start a business. She started her own business with her hard-earned money. She did not harm anyone. She did not cheat anyone. She did not took advantage of anyone's hard work. She worked hard and she started business. And here in this case, Tonya was a hard worker when she was in college. Yes, she studied well, and after completing and until she found a loophole in the financial institution, she was doing good. Yes, and when she found a loophole was there and that was not taken care by anyone in the organization, she used it in the adverse way. Yes, if she wanted to have used it in a proper way, what she should have done? She should have made that mistake right. Yes, so that would have given her a good name. But what she did, she used that and she took away $10 million from the institution and she transferred it to her own account. So now we are moving to Jane. While in college, Jane graduated with a good degree. Unfortunately, the summer after her graduation, Jane's parents died suddenly. Fortunately, they left her $10 million in their wills, of which Jane immediately donated $9.9 million to charities devoted to the homeless, victims of floods, and to the planting trees in the Brazilian rainforest. Jane invested the remaining $1 lakh in a certificate of deposit earning 8% annually. The proceeds enabling her to live frugally and without too much discomfort. So now Jane is the third example we are seeing now. So when she was in college, she also graduated with a good degree. Then what happened after her graduation? Her parents died suddenly. But to her fortune, they have left her $10 million. So again, she had two options. Either she can spend it off, she can enjoy her life to the fullest, or she can completely invest the amount in some business or wherever she wanted to invest. She would have invested, and with the income from that, she would have lived her life happily. What she did? She donated $9.9 million to charity. Okay. So after giving $9.9 million to the charity, she had only $100,000, okay, for her livelihood. So what she did, she invested that in a certificate of deposit that gave her 8% income every year. Yes, so with that, she was able to live frugally. Frugally means a content life, okay. It is not much of comfort, not much comfort. So that was not of a very comfort zone, but she was able to lead a simple life. Okay. So these three different cases we have seen. Yes. The first one, She earned herself. Who? Carly, she earned the amount herself. She started business. And this one, Tonya, she did not earn. She was working for the institution. But what she did, she made use of the chance and she cheated the institution. And she took away this $10 million. And what about this third one? She got $10 million even before she could work. But she donated 9.9 million to charity and she had only 100,000 left for herself. So, now the question is, which of these three is the most normal? Whom should we uphold as the ideal? Should we teach our children and students to admire and strive to be like Carly, Tonya or Jane? This is the question now. Yes, so the first question, which of these three is most moral? See, we can compare all these three. So the first one, she did not do any bad things to others. She herself earned, she started business, she ran it successfully, she sold the business, she got $10 million, she was living a happy life. That's it. Yes, this could be the mindset of a typical entrepreneur. This should be the mindset. When we go to the second type, okay, so she entered into a financial institution as an employee and there she cheated and there also she was able to take $10 million and she settled herself. She was very much selfish at this point. Yes, being selfish is not bad, but cheating others and for the benefit of ourselves, when we do harm to others, that cannot be accepted. Yes, that is not ethics. So the value, yes, the value which is very important for human beings, we call it as ethics. Okay. Then coming on to the third one, this Jane, yeah, she had the same $10 million. She gave it completely to the charity and she had only $100,000 left over for her. So now, even this is not about the business, right? This is a good attitude, this is a good moral value, of course, yes. But business is not that. As we always say, business is not just for charity. Each and every person starts an enterprise or business just to earn profit. But again, it should contain some value, right? So now, which of these three is most moral? I think I would go for Carly. Then, whom should we uphold as the ideal? Yes, two of them were ideal, two of them were doing good things. One was Carly and the other one was Jane. Okay, Jane was completely into this charity thing and she wanted to live her simple life. That's all she expected. So, that can also be taken as an ideal life, but when it comes to business, is that practically possible? At the cost of our own money, can we satisfy others every now and then? No, it is not possible when it is in business point of view, right? And then, so should we teach our children and students to admire and strive to be like Carly, Tonya or Jane? Yes, we should answer this question ourselves. So which path will be suitable for us? Which one will be good for us and for others also? That has to be decided by our own self. See, there was an option to Tonya that she would have informed the management about the loophole in the institution. With that, she would have set it right and she would have received more appreciation from the management. But she didn't do that. She took the chance and she took away the money from the institution and she settled herself. Yes, so that cannot be taken as a moral value. Now, all three require strength. It is not easy to build a successful business. It is not easy to figure out a con and get away with it. And it is not easy to give away all of one's money. So, all these three activities definitely requires strength. Yes, to start up a business and building it successfully is definitely not an easy task. And then when we come to this, it is not easy to figure out a con and get away with it. What is meant by con? Con means disadvantage. So, to find a disadvantage or mislead in the procedure, To find it out and using it is definitely not an easy task. The same way, it is not easy to give away all of one's money. Yes, keeping a very minimal portion and giving away the entire money is again not an easy procedure. So, Tonya is representative of predatory ethics. What is meant by predatory ethics? She harms others and uses the proceeds to benefit herself. Yes, at the harm of others, benefiting ourselves. Yes, predatory ethics. Yes, then she is representative of zero sum, gain at the expense of others' practice, widely condemned in the business ethics literature. Yes, so she is the representative of zero sum and gain at the expense of others. So, at the others' hard work, others' hard earned money, we are settling ourselves. Is that advisable? Is it proved to be good? Definitely not. So this is completely against the business ethics, right? And Jane is representative of altruistic ethics, which is she is selfless and she places what she has at the disposal of others in the society and keeping only the minimum for herself. She is representative of social justice practices widely praised in the business ethics literature, right? So now Jane, let us take her. She was an altruistic ethic, which means she has placed others in before thinking about herself. Yes, so she wanted to do something to the society. She wanted to donate the amount to the charity. So she wanted to completely not worry about herself. I will keep minimum part for me. I will take care of my livelihood. That is more than enough. I am not expecting a sophisticated life. Yes, I just need food. Yes, I just need a shelter. That is more than enough for me. I don't need any more money. So what she did? She completely gave the amount to charity. So she is selfless. But this Tonya was completely selfish. And now she places what she has at the disposal of others in the society. Yes, whatever she had, she completely gave it to others. Whatever you want to do it for charity. Yes, and then keeping only the minimum for herself. So she just held a minimum portion of the $10 million for herself. She is the representative of social justice practices. Yes, something we always do for society, which we call it as charity. She is the example for that. And now Carly is the prototypical entrepreneur and is representative of self-realization, egoistic ethic. She creates value, trades with others and lives her dream life. Yet, she is not discussed in the business ethics literature. She is the invisible woman. So, this Tonya has created a negative impact on others' life and Jane has created some positive impact on others' lives, and this Carly has not created any impact. She is seen to be invisible woman when it comes to business because she realized her capacity. She studied whatever she wanted. She worked for her business. She started her business. She's raised her business to be successful, and finally she sold the business. Yes, and after that what she did? Did she do anything for society? No. Did she do any harm to others? No. She didn't do anything. So, no impact on the society from this Carly. Okay? So, she is not at all discussed in the business ethics literature. And she is, of course, invisible woman. Yet, the character traits and value producing activities of entrepreneurs at least implicitly inform an ethic. To make this ethic explicit, let us begin with the standard description of the entrepreneur. So, in spite the characters are different, everything would be different, the trading activities we take will also be different, but finally implicitly inform an ethic. So, all the activities finally should have some ethic, some value in the activity of the business. And to make this ethic explicit, implicit means it is hidden. Okay, so to make it explicit, which means it should be shown to others explicitly, it should be visible to others, it should not be hidden. Okay, so to make this ethic explicit, let us begin with the standard description of an entrepreneur. So let us see who is an entrepreneur. During the past few decades, there has been an explosion of new interest in entrepreneurs and their activities. So in the recent years, maybe some 30-40 years, in the recent times, there has been an explosion of new interest in entrepreneurs. So the business field has developed so much. Okay, so yet only recently serious research attention is known to have been devoted in some developed countries to the ethical problems encountered by entrepreneurs and their organizations. So even though the business field is being emerged for this past 30-40 years, the serious issue on this ethical values, yes, that has been noted recently only by the developed countries. And the ethical problems are now encountered. See, what are all the ethical problems an entrepreneur faces, or what are all the issues their organizations face when it comes to ethics? That has been taken to serious note in the recent times only. Entrepreneurs face uniquely complex moral problems related to business basic fairness, personnel and relationships, distribution dilemmas, and other challenges that need to be addressed by all concerned through appropriate legal framework, social order, and perhaps also a moral rearmament movement. So, the entrepreneurs, they have many moral problems when it comes to business ethics. So, they just like that cannot give away all the amount to charity because they are working for profit. And of course, they have invested their lifetime savings to start this business. So just like that, they cannot give everything to charity. That is difficult for them. But at the same time, they cannot say that I am not going to give even a single penny for charity. Yes? So they are just struggling between these two extremes. So they are basically facing many problems on basic fairness, personnel and relationships. So at times they have to be rude to their employees. When the work is not getting done, what will they do? They will definitely have to be more strict with their employees. They should exercise more control over the employees. Even if they are not interested to do so, but to bring out the output, to be a profitable enterprise, definitely they should do all these stuffs. Then distribution dilemmas and other challenges that need to be addressed by all. So all the challenges that has to be addressed. So a situation may come where an employee may not be able to turn up to the work for a week. We may not know what is happening at. See, it is the basic duty of the employee to inform the business that I am suffering with so and so problem, so I will not be able to turn up for a week. But when they are not going to inform, we just like that cannot say them that no, you will be thrown out of the organization. That is impossible. Yes? So we should have that basic ethics at least. But the work is not done. We have two different pressures. One is losing about a good employee, The other side, output. The product should reach the market. Ultimately, everyone is working for that. So when we are not able to give the output on time, that is going to affect the business, and the other side, when we are not going to understand the employee, we are going to lose the employee also. So managing between these two ends is quite difficult, of course. So all these to be addressed or concerned through appropriate legal framework. So that is why all the business organizations have certain legal framework. They have certain laws. For example, for partnership, we have Indian Partnership Act. For companies, the public limited companies or private limited companies, any company for that matter, they have their own laws. Yes, company laws are there. Cooperative societies, they have Cooperative Societies Act. Like that, we have several acts that would formulate the working procedure of the organization. And also social order and perhaps also a moral rearmament movement. So this creates a social order. Yes? And finally, in order to understand the role of ethics in entrepreneurship, we need to understand the concept of ethics in life. So, before knowing about the ethics in business, we should understand the ethics in life first. Yes? And how should we live? Shall we aim at happiness or at knowledge, virtue or the creation of beautiful objects? If we choose happiness, will it be our own or the happiness of all? And what of the more particular questions that faces, is it right to be dishonest in a good cause? So like this, we have several questions in front of us. Yes? So how should we live? Is our aim going to be all about happiness or it is about knowledge? Yes? So we should think. And finally, suppose if our answer is going to be happiness, then is that about the happiness of myself or all others around me? That question comes again. So, answer to all these questions one after the other, that will give you a satisfaction, of course, not by harming others. Yes, so happiness, if I am going to be happy and all others around me are not happy, will that bring the real happiness to me? No. See, in a place where everyone is sad, can you just go and stand and laugh? That is quite impossible. So, on that case, yes, we should think that if we are choosing happiness, it should be the happiness of all. Yes? So, that is how are we going to choose? So, we have a very common question on us. Is it right to be dishonest in a good cause? So, if the cause is going to be good, is that right that we will follow some dishonest way for that good cause? Yes? Or we will follow the honest way for the same good cause. Which one is going to be better? So that is how we should have the questions of these moral values. We of course have all these questions in our mind, and the answer to all these questions with the point of view from the society and also ourselves, that gives the meaning of ethics. And now, can we justify living in opulence while elsewhere in the world people are starving? If conscripted to fight in a war we do not support, should we disobey the law? What are our obligations to the other creatures with whom we share this planet and to the generations of humans who will come after us? So we have more and more questions every day on us that will give us the questions of ethics. Are we having these moral values really? We have millions of questions like this. Yes? So when we find the answer for all these questions with the moral value, that becomes ethics, right? And ethics deals with such questions at all levels. So all the levels, see, let us think it that way. We celebrate a birthday party at our home, maybe our brother's or sister's birthday party. We cut 2 or 3 cakes even at times. Yes, we are celebrating it in a grand way with a minimum expenditure of at least 3,000 to 4,000 rupees. We take our friends for some restaurant, we enjoy lunch, we enjoy dinner, we go outing, we do all these stuffs on one single day. At this same time, there are people who did not even have got a cup of milk for that day. Yes? So, when we compare these two, is this sophistication required? A simplest life would be more than enough for us. So, that is where this ethics comes. Yes? So, instead of spending 4,000 for a birthday, instead of cutting 3 different cakes on the same day, which will be eaten by ourselves, we would have of course tasted it earlier. Yes? So, instead of spending 1,500 rupees on those cakes, we would have given that 1,000 rupees to some charity institution. We would have cut 1 cake for our satisfaction. It is not that we have to give the entire 1,500 and we should not cut the cake. No. No one is against our own happiness. Yes? So, but at the cost of others' happiness, we cannot keep ourselves happy. Right? That is all about ethics. So now, its subjects consist of the fundamental issues of practical decision making, and its major concerns include the nature of ultimate value and the standards by which human actions can be judged right or wrong. So, the decision which we are going to take, yes, and the major concerns. Because of that decision, will that affect the people around us? Will that affect even the environment around us? All these has to be thought over before taking a decision. So, a decision, when it is accepted by everyone around us as a right decision, then it has some ethical value. If a decision is going to be objected by others as not a right decision, then definitely it is not going to be having some ethical value. So, something is missing there. That is all about the ethical values. With this, we will see about what are ethics and the definition of business ethics in our next session. Thank you. To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.